You guys have to make more money for any system change to make sense. We've been doing this for 13 years now, converting offices all over the country to Weichert. We've abandoned some recommendations because it didn't work for everybody. But everything you're seeing today and yesterday and tomorrow, the Weichert stuff, increases your revenue. I wouldn't have brought up transaction coordination, the pending period, if I didn't know for certain, because I see the numbers, that down the road someday we'll put more money in your pocket. Even if there might be a fee, there might not be a fee, it doesn't matter really, because the only way it's going to be rolled out with or without a fee is if it's going to make you more money. Because offices are configured in a lot of different ways. Y'all might be paying for something here that another Weichert office isn't. You follow? So it all just comes out in the wash. So there's a kind of a long answer for that.
I would liken it to like having enough business to hire an assistant. Yeah. Essentially, it's an office assistant.
And
if we do enough business, then
and just so you know,
be a shared assistant. Right.
Yes. And we don't like assistants in our offices.
Well, the
because
please be quiet. Mine's on the other side of the wall, and she works her butt off. Sorry.
What I mean is, the office is going to provide support staff in a sufficient level to where you guys do not need a personal assistant. You follow? Okay. Now that is it. Let me finish. That is again a differentiator of us and all the other real estate offices out there. Okay. Because they're not taking the initiative to provide the office support and systems that prevent you from needing a personal assistant. Personal assistants are hired for two reasons. The office is not providing enough support, or the agent has an ego that's uncontrollable. Is that true?
Never. No. However it flies.
Do you agree with that?
No. Support.
No. Not for all.
No, I mean, well, what about the first part? That when agents get personal assistance, is it because they need extra administrative support?
They need help. I've seen them both like work extremely hard.
I've seen. Well, y'all are different.
Right, well, that's why I'm saying.
How are we different?
Yeah, right?
We need support and staff too.
That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Hey.
Awkward.
Oh, yes, you. No. Yes,
I have two questions.
Yes.
The first question is regarding the process. For us dual career.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
Okay.
For us dual career agents, you made a statement stating that we would need to coordinate with someone, maybe Karen, letting them know that we have a new potential buyer coming into the office and that we need them to meet management and lenders. I do most of my showings at night on the weekend when they're not here.
Okay.
So is there a second option?
Well, a conversation that's on my checklist for us this afternoon is how much can we stretch the loan officer? Is the loan officer here willing to schedule appointments, in the early evening?
Yeah, she's here in the evening.
They do now?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, then there's your answer.
Okay. Second question is, because of all the recruiting and the possible additional staff that we're going to be hiring, where are they going to park?
The concept is called hoteling, and Bobby and I went to Atlanta last August, you remember, and at the National Brokers, the regional brokers meeting, they discussed it. And just like with me, I don't have an office here. I work out of my home office. I guess lead by example, but this is what I've been doing for 2 years or more. Yeah. So all of these areas are being redefined right now to have countertops and all brand new big cushy chairs coming next week. And there's going to be room in-house for probably 20 people to be here at any given time, but they're not going to be, because you're going to want more quiet. You're going to want your own private surroundings and conveniences. It's easy to work at home once you get the discipline. And as far as the parking is concerned, we're having the driveway resurfaced. Next week, it starts on Wednesday. There's 2 more additional parking spots being added, and they're going to put blacktop between our driveway and the neighbors so that we're going to have room for at least 4 to 5 more cars. And we're gonna all be sensitive to it also. We do have the option too, the neighbor behind, I'm trying to see about buying the driveway spot over there and having her house have a driveway entrance coming off the Wild West Street. And I've already talked to her, but she's a little slow to move and she's a little high with her price expectations often. But, you know, so I'm trying to address that. But we're all gonna work hard to, like, just like in front of, oh God, I almost said Krista's office. Karen's office. Sorry, sweetheart. There's going to be 2 spots there. All that grass is going away, so 2 cars can go right up front there, right off the bat, and no one's parking there now.
The
And then
last
there's
office,
another parking spot coming back here, and then we're all going to just work together.
the last office I had 104 agents, and at any given time there were like 4 in the office.
I was gonna say, y'all got a bunch of parking out there. Wasn't that your impression?
Yeah.
We drove up,
Yeah.
y'all, I was thinking this is, first of all, the office looks great, doesn't it? It's a beautiful facility. And I thought y'all had a bunch of parking.
We have an office in Hilton Head, and they have a similar parking lot, and they have 70 agents.
Yeah.
I was thinking for our support meeting.
Well, then, listen, that's a great problem to have.
Right now,
We'll go somewhere else if you got to.
and
I mean,
while we're talking about it, right now, that sheet of grass on the other side of their driveway, next Monday, that is where you are all gonna be parking, right up on her property on the grass, because it's gonna be packed here. There's a lot going on. We've got a big announcement.
Awesome.
And the chamber is already sending out invitations to everybody. I've got stuff here to share with you, so.
Cool, and that's, you're gonna do that
Monday, June 1st,
Monday, June
4
1st, that's
o'clock.
right, Monday, June 1st. Okay, awesome. Good enough?
Yes.
And if we have a problem with parking for weekly meetings, that's a great problem, and we'll go off-site somewhere to do the meetings. Okay? That's not an issue. Okay? Or just park over at Wawa.
That's where I park.
Is that where you park?
That's where I park too.
Push comes to shove, we can park.
Now, what is the sandwich that she eats?
Yeah, over at Food.
Do you have a daughter that will eat
Oh, ham sandwich.
ham sandwich?
Plain ham sandwich.
Plain ham sandwich from Wawa.
Oh, yeah, you're the one.
So, yeah, he's my guy. All right, so.
My daughter's a
We
food
have heard
nut.
about it.
She's a food wacko.
Uh-huh.
And she'll only eat a ham sandwich at Wawa. And there was a major crisis when they got rid of the Kaiser rolls.
Oh, God. Okay, so everybody, this is a good one, isn't it? This expand, boy, we got, went all over the place from this page, too. But this expands the list in their mind and gets them more focused on there's more than just hopping in the car and looking around. Yes,
Maybe I'll get to that.
Go back.
I was gonna mention the home protection plan.
okay, we did before, but go ahead.
Okay, now?
That we should mention it here.
Well, just, I didn't know if they knew that.
Yes. Remember yesterday we were talking about the home protection plan, and I said the sellers and buyers. So during this process is when we should be first introducing them to that. Thank you. Okay? All right. And then we talk about what we'll do for them and how we can negotiate. Now, this is going to be guided by what they have chosen as far as an agency situation, isn't it?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And I've had suggestions from some brokers and agents that they wish this page was here before that. It kind of, and you can do this if you want to, because these are just separate sheets, you can put them in there, but, you know, based on what they've chosen as an agency relationship is going to determine what you say here, is that right? How you can negotiate. Okay, so that's talking about that. We also talk about how they're a single point of contact. Folks, this is an extremely important page. And we were going to go, you know, even if we've been just kind of using them, let them look at these pages as we go and we're talking. When you go, Mr. Miss Seller, I really need you to pay attention during this, or Mr. Miss Buyer, because this can really streamline the process and solve you and me some headaches if I explain this to you. If you see any other property on Weichert.com, do not make an inquiry through the website. You follow? People do this all the time out of good nature. I mean, you'll meet them through the lead network and you're working with them, show them houses, and they go back that night and they start shopping again. They have every intention of using you, but they don't know, so they just screw up. So make sure they don't do that. Make sure that they understand that you can show them all properties. Don't assume people know this. They don't. Even if they bought a house 6 months ago, they don't have their nose in the process every day like we do, okay? So, I can show you all others. New construction. We don't want them to get their name on a register somewhere, do we? Where they're not gonna pay us a commission. And then, you know, again, with builders, for sale by owners, open houses. If you go to open houses, that's fine, but just be sure to let the agent know that you're working with me. It will not impact at all your ability to see that house. I think that's a magic phrase, by the way. Those people don't, you know, they don't know. So be real clear about all this. I can help you with anything. Now, and that'll be a learning experience for some buyers. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
People don't know that. Okay. So this is where we start talking about our gold services offerings, and this is probably where we're going to go meet the mortgage company, and we're going to talk about, do you have any insurance P&C that you use?
I think we each have people that we like to refer to.
Yeah.
Not one that the company as a whole is referring to.
On that, I'll bet you could find one who provides exceptional, consistent service that you could actually get a referral from. Possible. Think about it. Okay? Title insurance and home protection plan, and we talked about these things, and so this is where we're presenting those options for them. Okay? And again, this is the agency page.
Is this an attorney state or title?
Attorney.
And we decided that when it says title insurance, guys, that'll just be your reference of, you know, we're going to find an attorney that is going to represent you and be as satisfied as some of my other clients.
Okay.
So it kind of falls under that legal representation thing.
But in this attorney state, they still don't issue title insurance?
No, they
Is that
do.
correct?
The lawyer
They do.
handles
So the
it.
lawyer does.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all. Okay,
we
that's
can't
right.
interface.
That's right. And so the only difference is who writes it. That's it.
Right.
Okay. All right. So this is where we do all the disclosure stuff. All right. What are you gonna do? All right. And then this is where if they're in for the first meeting, and we haven't had an extensive conversation about their housing needs, this is where we do it, or it's a confirmation of what we already know. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And we have the buyer control sheet in front of us during this period of time, and that you guys looked at, that we're going through and filling out. All right? Beautiful. These questions are where you put it. Okay, and then now we're going to look at the properties all right, let me ask you this, guys. And we'll do a little more of this tomorrow when we're doing the specifically network training. But, you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna wait till we get there to do that. I'm not gonna do that as well. So anyway, what do y'all think of the buyer consultation? Does that work for you?
Wonderful.
That's wonderful, Ed.
I
Okay.
just had a question.
Yes,
I
please.
think it was the negotiations page mentioned about committing to making the offer in person.
This one here? Oh, good, okay. All right, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Negotiate in person to strengthen your offer. What is the custom here? Do you have to take the offer to the listing agent and let them go take it and deliver it?
Yes. It's
Okay.
the listing agents.
Okay. All right, so y'all follow? You do follow. So in some markets, I grew up in two markets when I was selling. I was in Richmond, Kentucky, Lexington. One of them was Richmond, where you had the right as the agent with the buyer to be in the room to present their contract to the seller with the listing agent.
Ooh, I love
I can't even
that.
imagine that.
I've done a lot
You
of
can
that.
request it around here, but,
Yeah,
and
there's
very
no
rarely
law
does
that says you can't.
anyone.
There is no law guiding that anywhere. There's no law
Listing.
anywhere guiding that. It's
Very-
all tradition.
My big thing is.
I would start asking if I was y'all, is what I would do.
I'll usually
I would
write
start
a
asking, say,
letter.
can I be there?
We do
Can
an
I-
introduction letter so that, because we can't be there, at least they have the
Yeah.
letter.
Sure.
So, you know, where possible,
Yeah.
we'll negotiate, you know, now the custom here is
Right.
that the listing agent presents it.
Right.
I always ask, sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no.
Right.
More often than not, they say no. But to try to counteract
Yeah.
that, we will present
Right.
a letter of intent.
Exactly, that's generally what I'll do, is to give that extra oomph for the buyer.
There's always a way
A
to,
way to help them.
like, to talk about these points, you know, that fit your But that's really, I mean, Jim's been on a big, like, in many of the markets that his company owned offices, right? it's a listing agent presents, and he's been on a kick, like trying to get the agents to at least ask
Right.
to go. You know, and I'm surprised, it started to change in my market, oh God, how long ago, 15 years ago. And we were very entrenched in, you know, non-buyer agents.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of the buyer agent asking. There's really no reason not to, other than because. Why can't I present? Because.
Because the sellers might say something.
No, there's
That would
absolutely no
make it their
downside.
position.
Here's the only downside.
If I was a
The-
listing agent.
The only downside is that when a listing agent has an inferior offer, and it will be revealed to the seller if you let the other agent come over with their offer.
Not necessarily. As a listing agent, I would not necessarily want a buyer's agent there, just because I would be protecting my seller about, you know, you just don't want, a lot of times.
And my argument would be,
the-
well, I'm not allowing you to present my client's offer. You might say something that would injure them.
So we all should be in the room.
Yes, that's the best way.
That's the ideal.
The ideal is everybody in the room.
But again, you're bucking a long
Be an empty room
custom.
in this market.
Yeah, yeah, I think
It's
it
the
would.
most honest thing.
I think it
Well,
would.
But I
Let
mean,
me ask this question.
there's no reason on one side that wouldn't be the same reason on the other side.
Right.
so, but let me ask you this. You said it would be the empty rooms in this market. When
There
was
would
it?
be people not letting us show their listings.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
When was, who asked to do this last? When was the last time you asked a listing agent if you could be there for the
Never
presentation?
knew we
I've
could.
never done it.
Never.
Never
How the
knew we
hell
could.
do we know? It's not gonna work.
I just know how I would react.
In this state, they're not letting each other into each other's listings because they're in different associations and they don't have their magic keypad. Forget it.
Well, now that I
This is
understand.
like,
Well,
forget
that
it.
we're working
Well,
on.
that I
there-
understand.
No,
That I
there are going to be
understand.
ethics complaints for that, and that's a new thing. There's ethics. I just talked to Michelle about that yesterday. There's going to be ethics complaints because it's against NAR code of ethics.
I'm sure.
But that's
But you know
another.
what I'm
That's another
saying, it's just
situation. We are a small association. Everybody knows everybody. It's not. It's not likely that it would convert over to that very easily.
Best things done are hard things.
Well, my mother used to
I
say,
was-
if you don't ask, you don't get.
I was president of I was a president of a 150 person board, so I understand small and medium sized boards, and I was vice president of a 600 member board. So I get how we have our heads up our wrong places sometimes on this stuff. What I'm saying is, if everybody's in the room, it's the best thing for all consumers. And so this system of not doing it, we are putting agent interest above consumer interest. And the agent interest that's going above the consumer is in many cases the listing agent. Just for
So
my-
they present the offer and then they leave so that you can work with your
Yeah,
seller.
That was my
Exactly.
only
Do it there,
concern.
yeah.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Listen, I've been the listing agent on this routine many
We're
times.
lucky because they're all too lazy to bother anyway, so if we did it, we'd be the only ones that would make that
Well, here's the
extra
thing,
effort.
if I'm a buyer who's hired you to represent me, why would I not want you to at least try to present my offer? It makes no sense for the other side's representative to present my offer.
That's why we did the letters from the start, and the letters.
Now, I'm not saying you're gonna go out and do it, I'm just saying,
The
you know,
letters-
just
The letters are
from
closed.
from an intellectual level, it's, you're protecting the seller, well, who's protecting the buyer if you're their agent?
I understand where you're coming from, and my only concern was if I'm the listing agent, protecting, or not protecting, allowing my seller, or my sellers to voice their opinion.
Right.
And what you just said is, you make the offer, you get the hell out of Dodge, and then let them talk. You know, they don't have to
That's
make
the
their mind, they don't have to feel
difference. That's the
pressure to
difference.
make up their mind while I'm still sitting
Yeah,
there.
no,
Right.
no, you
Right,
don't-
if I were the listing
That part was
agent,
never
then,
broached, and
yeah,
I just,
yeah, I wasn't
that would be
thinking
the only
about
thing I'd be
That
concerned
makes sense.
about.
that. Okay.
But it's like any negotiation, I mean, you know, it's either the two representatives are there, like anything, sports contract or, you know, whatever, union contract. Either the representatives are there or the representatives and their clients are there. So both sides, you know, it's kind of, because we talk about negotiating for our buyers, where do we ever do that?
Well, you
When
do
you're
it
talking to
through
the
listing.
agent.
Not really.
Yeah, when you're talking to the agent.
Not really. You present the offer and see what they say. And they come back and say, well, we want $1,000 more, and you say they want $1,000 more.